What is up, you beautiful fuckers? Today, I am bringing the tank guide of the century. If you want to move around the map as if you are in a symphony, if you want to be a genius in the tank, then stay tuned. I'm just kidding. I'm just overhyping myself. But seriously, if you want to be an MVP, a showstopper, a tank killer, a tank master, then stay tuned because I have the information and the goods to go with it. I am just going way overboard right now. So, I've gotten a lot better in the tank recently. I typically average like 20 to 40 kills. 40 kills is like when I'm having an excellent game. 20 to 40 kills, I die 1 to 4 times. That's like average for me. And I think that's pretty good. I'm not the best, I'm not the worst, but I have gotten exponentially better, and I want to show you guys what I've learned, and that's all I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm going to bring you 3 very basic tank setups. And if you want to stick around to have additional in-depth information as to why I have what I have, some of you guys may look at the screen and disagree with what you see. By the way, you will also see tank gameplay. You're not going to be staring at a tank screen for however God knows how long this fucking review is going to last. But you might disagree with some things. Trust me, I'm incredibly meticulous, and I am really ADD when it comes to winning. I love to win in anything I do, so I make sure everything is on point. Okay. So, with that said, the very first setup is the one that you guys will be able to relate the most to. It is the infantry killing machine. If you want to kill a lot of infantry, but, you know, you might not have the best tank experience because you won't be able to 1v1 vehicles that well, then this will be the setup for you. So, the AP shell is going to be your go-to shell, and then your secondary weapon is going to be the coaxial LMG or the coaxial HMG. And the reason I say this is because the AP shell is great at hitting an assortment of vehicles, and the secondary weapon, which is going to be the coaxial HMG or the LMG, is going to be great at killing infantry. You're not going to be able to win a lot of tank 1v1s against someone that knows what they're doing, but you will be able to kill a lot of infantry. You're going to have to play a lot more passive, so this is going to be more of a camping loadout for you, but it will get the job done. That's class setup 1. That's not the one that I use. The one that I use is the one I'm about to describe to you right now. It is the AP shell along with the staff shell. This setup will allow you to kill infantry as well as kill a lot of tanks and win all of your 1v1s. By the way, guys, you never change your countermeasure. You will always have active protection. If you don't have active protection, I will slap you across the face. We will come to terms, and it's not going to be pretty. I'll probably lose. That's okay. All right. So, we have the staff shell. Why am I using the staff shell and the AP shell? Well, don't worry, we'll get into a very in-depth explanation, but for now, all you have to know is that the staff shell is basically another tank shot, and you don't even have to be that accurate with it. It will basically, if you're in the general area of aiming at another tank, it will just hit the tank, and you will be good to go. So, the AP shell, staff shell, and active protection. By the way, guys, you can swap out autoloader for reactive armor. I personally don't do it, but don't worry, we will get into that explanation as time goes on. So, the third and final setup is if you want to kill an assortment of tanks, if you want to be the tank killing machine, but you will not be able to kill infantry, so make sure that you have a team that can really suppress the engineers on the other team. You will want to equip the HE shell and the staff shell. The HE shell, you're going to want to equip that because the HE shell is a better tank shot. It will be able to do more damage to armored vehicles, as you can see in the description. But, this is a big but, you will not be able to kill infantry with this shell because it's just not good at killing infantry. You don't get a lot of splash damage. And because you don't get a lot of splash damage, infantry tend to just stay alive. I mean, you really have to headshot someone with this shell in order to kill them. So, this is only good for other tanks or other vehicles. And it's not even that good against, like, helicopters, because you have to lead your shot so much, because the shell is heavier, so it drops faster. By the way, with the setup that I showed you previously, the setup that can do everything, I just want to say that the AP shell can kill infantry. And that is what you would use to kill infantry, not the staff shell. The staff shell is not used to kill infantry. Let me repeat. Staff shell does not kill infantry. It sucks at it. Only do it if you're trying to snipe someone from 800 yards away or 800 meters away and you can't fire the AP shell that far or something like that. Okay, So I've shown you the 3 setups, correct? Yes. I'm about to go into an in-depth explanation. By the way, you can have an assortment of combinations. You can have an HE shell with an LMG. You can do whatever you want. But those 3 setups that I showed you are probably the most basic and grounded setups that you can have. If you want to get creative, then at least know what you're doing before you get creative. I'm not the best, as I've said before, but I have gotten better, and I just want to share this information with all of you beautiful people. So, what's up? Give me the in-depth explanation, Hectic. Okay, well, let's do it. The AP shell is great at killing infantry and vehicles. I've already said this. The HE shell is great at only killing vehicles, and ground vehicles at that. The Sabot shell, in my opinion, is not very good. It is like an AP shell without splash damage. It is like if the AP shell and the HE shell had a retarded, redheaded stepchild baby, and that would be the Sabot shell. Now, if you're a redheaded person, it's completely cool. Redheaded people are quite attractive, so it's all good. I'm just poking fun a little bit. So, that is the basic setup for the shells. The secondary weapon is probably the most important. The primary weapon is not as important. It doesn't really matter if you use the HP shell or the HE shell. That's kind of whatever. But the secondary weapon matters a lot. So why do I use the staff shell? What is so cool about the staff shell? And why is it the last one that you unlock? And I will tell you why, good people. So, the coaxial LMG and the coaxial HMG are great at killing infantry, but why not the canister shell? Why not the guided shell? Why don't you use those, Hectic? Well, see, the guided shell is interesting because it's basically the super powerful missile. And you know what? If you can get that unsuspecting guided shell shot on another tank, that's great. But you know what? If me and you are in a 1v1 and you use the guided shell, I will win 100% of the time for a very simple reason. That is because the guided shell is slow. It is a very slow-moving missile. And when you use that guided shell, I will use active protection. It's simply a matter of rock, paper, scissors. You put down rock, I'll put down paper. You put down guided shell, I'll put down active protection. Your missile won't do anything, and then I will hit you with the staff shell. And if you use active protection, I'll just hit you again with the staff shell, because it just reloads so quickly. So, in my opinion, guided shell does not work. Okay, so what about the canister shell? Well, let's break that one down as well. The canister shell is designed to kill infantry, and if you're on the PC, I'm sure that's what you could use, because you can become super accurate. But if you're on the console, it might not be a good fit for you, because you're a little bit more inaccurate with a controller. And if you're going to go after infantry, use something that works, like an HMG or an LMG, and equip that. That's all you need. You don't need a canister shell. Why the fuck do you need a canister shell? A staff shell is perfect. It is like a really hyperactive tank shot, does lots of damage, it's incredibly accurate, doesn't drop at all. Perfect. I love it. That is why I use a staff shell. So probably the last part of this video that you may be wondering about, you may not be, you might just be watching this and, you know, listening to my beautiful voice. Just kidding. So, we've got reactive armor, right? So why don't I use reactive armor? Well, I used to. I used to use reactive armor. And the reason I used to use reactive armor is because it doesn't give you any critical hits, and it says absorbs some of the shock from incoming attacks. I don't know if it actually drops the damage that other tanks get, but I don't find that to be true. Now, if you're going to be a tank that plays really campy, and that's fine, because tanks are generally slow-moving, big, fat vehicles that can't make very good turns, so I'm not knocking you if you decide to play really passive with a tank. I like to be really aggressive with a tank, because I'm super ADD. So I need to make sure that my setup works, and I need to make sure I can move quickly, and I can reload quickly, so on and so forth. So I use autoloader, because if I run out of ammo, I'm screwed. And I have enough faith in my maneuverability that I can just run away from, you know, a dude that's trying to follow me with a missile, because I move faster. So that's why I use autoloader over reactive armor. Gunner upgrade and gunner optics, those aren't really important, but it does have to do with whoever is in the tank with you. I don't really test this because I'm never a gunner, and if I am, I just kind of shoot stuff. So I don't think it's that important. If you guys want to, feel free to experiment, but it's not something that I really worry about. Now, that pretty much wraps up the guide to the tanks, guys, but hold on, before you close out of the video, I just want to say that I'm going to give you a few tips here, because there are some things that I would implore you guys to listen and learn from. When you're using a tank, make sure that the gunner who's with you, if he has a mic, tell him to not go crazy with the LMG. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I'm not even 100% sure about this, but when someone is shooting the LMG on your tank, that secondary weapon, when they're shooting it, I'm pretty sure it just lights up your tank on the radar. Not only will engineers say, "Oh, look, oh, there's a tank, let me go find it, let me go kill it." Not only will they do that, but any type of lock-on missile, any type of other vehicle that's hungry for a tank, they will come to you. So having a guy that's randomly shooting an LMG just because he can is really dumb. And I could be wrong about that. Even if it doesn't pop up on the radar, it's still someone that's just shooting a really loud gun, and that's going to draw attention. On top of the fact that a tank is loud in and of itself, it's just not smart to randomly shoot an LMG when you're in a tank. I'd recommend that you guys don't. And that might be pretty self-explanatory. Now, one of the things, I think one of the upgrades is, no, it's not. Okay, I thought there was some radar upgrade. But you gotta make sure that you're looking out for mines, because people love to put AT mines. And let me just say, a very general location, people never put mines off-road. So when you're using a tank, don't use the road that much. Don't use the road in the enemy's base too much. You want to make sure that a lot of the times you're off-road, you're kind of in a weird place with the tank that you can get a good angle on, but you're not on the road. That way the mines aren't, you know, going to really fuck up your tank. If you do have to use a road, like if you have to cross a bridge, then look down. Look down with your tank, look at the bridge, and you will be able to see the mines. They're very noticeable, and you just shoot them, and then you go on about your day. There's no reason you should ever get hit by a mine, unless some guy is just putting it on a tree or something. Anyways, that about wraps it up for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving as well. I had a great Thanksgiving. You know, I took a day off. I sat back. I relaxed. You know, had some turkey. It was delicious. There were tangerines in the turkey. Might sound really weird, but it was delicious. So, that does it for me. I hope you guys have an amazing day as always. And until next time, peace, motherfuckers.